Hello listeners, this video focuses on Anna Karenina, written by Leo Tolstoy. Count Lev Nikolaevich Tolstoy was a Russian writer who is regarded as one of the greatest authors of all time. He received nomination for the Nobel Prize in Literature every year between 1902 to 1906, and also he is nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize in the years 1901, 1902 and 1909. His notable novels include War and Peace in the year 1869 and Anna Karenina the year 1878. He became famous in his early 20s with his semi-autobiographical trilogy, Childhood, Boyhood and Youth, which he wrote between the years 1852 to 1856. Sevastophical Sketches in the year 1855, which is based upon his experiences in the Crimean War. He has also written short stories and several novels, such as The Death of Ivan Ilyich in the year 1886, Family Happiness 1859, After the Ball 1911, and Haji Murad 1912. His work has also included themes like spiritual awakening, Christian anarchist and pacifist, and he also includes ideas such as non-violent resistance. He extracts his themes by the influence from 20th century figures like Mahatma Gandhi and Martin Luther King Jr. Let us see a small outline about Anna Karenina. It is a novel by Leo Tolstoy which he published in the year 1878. Tolstoy calls this novel as his first true novel. This novel was first released in serial installments between the years 1875 to 1877, but the last part of the novel appeared in the periodical The Russian Messenger. This novel has 8 parts with more than a dozen major characters, and it has got 800 pages. The novel revolves around the themes such as betrayal, faith, family, marriage, imperial Russian society, desire, rural life versus city life. The story centers about the extramarital affair between Anna and cavalry officer named Count Alexei Krylovich Brodsky. The novel is telecasted and adapted into various mediums such as theatre, television, film, and radio drama. Let us now see the main characters. Anna Arkadievna Karenina. She is a beautiful aristocratic woman. Everyone who sees her is magnetically attracted to her. Next is Count Alexei Krylovich Brodsky. He is a dashing young military officer whom Anna falls in love with. Anna leaves her husband Karenina due to Brodsky. Next is Count Alexei Alexandrovich Karenin. He is the husband of Anna Karenina. He is a high-ranking, wealthy government official. Throughout the novel, he carries his societal reputation. He wishes to uphold his loveless marriage life in order to showcase to the society. Next is Prince Stephen Ardovich Oblonsky. He is also called as Steva. He is Anna's brother and Dolly's husband. He is otherwise called as Steva Oblonsky. He is a well-liked, social, merry aristocrat. Next is Princess Daria, who is otherwise called as Dolly. Her full name is Princess Daria Dolly Alexandrovna Oblonsky. She is Oblonsky's wife, Kitty's sister, and Anna's sister-in-law. She is a long-suffering Dolly. In this character, Tolstoy, he depicts the most realistic version of marriage and motherhood through Dolly. Konstantin Dmytryk Levin, he is otherwise called as Kostya. He is the main protagonist of the novel besides Anna Karenina. He is a landlord who is primarily concerned with farming, agricultural and rural life. Princess Katerina Alexandrovna Skribatsky. She is otherwise called as Kitty. She is Dolly's younger sister who is sensitive, When the novel begins, she was in love with Vronsky. Next is Nikolai Dmitrich Levin. He is Levin's brother, Nikolai. He is the fallen prey to gambling and addicted to alcohol. Nikolai is passionate of political and he has intellectual views. Next is Sergei Ivanovich Kozintsev. He is Levin's and Nikolai's half-brother. He is an intellectual who immerses himself zealously in all the most current political activities. Next is Sergei Alexeyevich Karenin. He is called as Seryoza, Anna's son. Anna deeply loves her son, Seryoza. Princess Betsy Bruskai. Princess Betsy Bruskai is the center of Anna's brilliance. She belonged to high-class social circle in Petersburg. She is graceful and liked by everyone. Next is Countess Lydia Ivanovna. Lydia is a pious, upright woman. She professes to be extremely religious but only uses Christianity for her own self-serving needs. Next is Annie. Annie is a daughter of Anna Karenina and Brodsky. Annie remains a baby and Tolstoy never shows events from Annie's perspective. Anna loves her son Seryoza more than her daughter Annie. There are several other minor characters in the novel which we can see when we look the summary of the novel. Let us see the plot outline. There are 8 parts in this novel. The first line of Anna Karenina is the most famous line in literature. Let me read it. All happy families are alike. Each unhappy family is unhappy in its own way. Through this line, Leo Tolstoy establishes a strong picture about life and humanity. So, more than explaining a story in this book, he breathes about humans' life. In the first part of the novel, Prince Stephen Oblonsky, who is otherwise called as Steva, he is a Moscow aristocrat and a civil servant who has been unfaithful to his wife, named Princess Daria Alexandrovna. She is otherwise called as Dolly. Dolly has discovered Prince Steva's relationship and his affair with the family's governess, and the household and family, after knowing his affair, they are under turmoil. Knowing the issue, his sister Anna Karenina is coming from St. Petersburg in order to bid a calm situation. Meanwhile, Stefa's childhood friend Konstantin Levin, he is otherwise called as Kostya, he arrives in Moscow with the aim of proposing to Dolly's youngest sister, named Princess Katrina. She is otherwise called as Kitty. Now Levin, he is a passionate, restless and a shy aristocratic landlord. He chooses to live in a country on his large estate. He discovers that Kitty is also being pursued by Count Alexei Vronsky. He is an army cavalry officer. Steva travels to the railway station to meet Anna. At the same time, Vronsky, he is also there to meet his mother, the Countess Vrodskaya. Now, Anna and Vrodskaya have already traveled together and they have talked together in the same carriage. Vronsky sees Anna for the first time in the railway station. There was a railway worker accidentally falls in front of a train and is being killed. Anna interprets this as an evil omen. The meaning of evil omen is a sign of something that will happen in the future. Now they have arrived to the home. At the Oblonsky home, Anna talks openly and emotionally to Dolly about Steva's affair and convinces to her that Steva still loves her despite all his affairs. Dolly is moved by Anna's speech and decides to forgive Steva. Kitty, who is the sister of Dolly, who has come to visit Dolly and Anna, she is just 18. In her first season as a debutante means a young woman from aristocratic or upper class family who has just arrived at their maturity age. In simple terms, that the woman or a girl who has attained enough age for marriage. Now, Kitty is expected to make an excellent match with a man of her own social class. Vronsky has already paid attention to her and she expects to dance with him at a ball that evening. But Kitty is disturbed by Anna's beauty and her personality, and that becomes infatuated with her just as much as with Vronsky. Levin also proposes to Kitty at her home, but she puts him down, believing that she is in love with Vronsky. She also believes that Vronsky will propose her, and this is being encouraged by Kitty's mother, who believes that Vronsky will be a better match for Kitty. But in contrast, Kitty's father favors Levin. At the ball, Kitty expects that Vronsky will dance with her, but instead he dances with Anna by choosing her as a partner. Despite Vronsky's flirt with Kitty, she realizes that Vronsky has fallen in love with Anna and has no intention to marry her. Both Vronsky and Kitty just amuses each other only by flirting. After the dance, Anna is shaken by Vronsky, but by realizing her physical responsibility, she returns once again to St. Petersburg. Vronsky also travels on the same train. During the overnight journey, the two meet and Vronsky confesses his love, but Anna refuses him, although she is affected by his intentions. At the same time, Levin, who is crushed by Kitty's refusal, returns to his estate. He is abandoned without hope of marriage. Anna also returns to her husband, Count Alexei Alexandrovich Karenin, a senior government official, and her son in St. Petersburg. Part 2 begins like this. The Scrivatskys consult doctors over Kitty's health, which has been falling since Vronsky's rejection. The physicians offer advice by saying that Kitty should go abroad in order to take a health spa to recover from her disappointment. Dolly speaks to Kitty and understands that she is suffering because of Vronsky and Levin. The humiliated Kitty by Vronsky and Levin's rejection, she upsets her sister by referring Steva's infidelity. Simultaneously, Steva visits Levin on his country estate while selling a nearby plot of land. Meanwhile, in St. Petersburg, Anna begins to spend more time in the inner circle of Princess Elizaveta, who is otherwise called as Betsy. She is a fashionable socialite and Vronsky's cousin. Vronsky also continues to pursue Anna. Although she initially tries to reject him, she eventually attracts under his attention and begins an affair with him. Meanwhile, Anna's husband Karenin, who's always concerned about the societal people, he pays attention to Vronsky and Anna Karenina in public, who has become the subject of gossip. He's concerned about the couple's public image. Vronsky, he's a keen horseman who takes part in a steeplechase event, and during his ride, his mare named Fau Fau, he rides it too hard. He rides in an irresponsible way, which causes him to fall and break the horse back. Seeing this, Anna is unable to hide her distress during the accident. Observing the behavior of his wife, Karenin, he remarks to Anna that her behavior is improper. Anna is in a state of extreme distress and emotion, and she confesses her affair to her husband. Karenin asks her to break it off in order to avoid further gossips, because he wanted to preserve his marriage life in order to showcase to the society. Now Kitty and her mother, they travel to German spa in order to enable Kitty to recover from her illness. There in German, Kitty meets a wheelchair user named Madden Stoll, who is accompanied by the kind and virtuous Varenka. Varenka is her stepdaughter, Stoll's stepdaughter. Observing Stoll's behavior with Varenka, Kitty becomes extremely pious and concerned for others. But after Kitty's father joins them, she observes Stoll's behavior as fake and then she returns to Moscow. Part 3 begins as Levin continues working on his estate. He develops with his idea of agriculture and raises a unique relationship between the agricultural laborer and his native land and culture. He comes to believe that the agricultural reforms of Europe will not work in Russia because of the unique culture and personality of the Russian peasant. Later, when Levin visits Dolly, she attempts to make Levin understand of what Kitty's condition is and her behavior. Levin is very agitated by Dolly's talk about Kitty and he begins to feel distant from Dolly. Levin also resolves to forget Kitty and tries to possibly marry a peasant woman. That is a woman from a agricultural background or a farmer or a woman who has limited land ownership. However, Levin understands that he still loves Kitty. Meanwhile, in St. Petersburg, Karenin also refused to get separated from Anna. He insists that their wedded relationship will still continue for society. Karenin also threatens Anna that he will take away their son Servoza if she is loving Vronsky. Part 4 begins when Anna and Vronsky continue to meet each other. Karenin consults with a lawyer about having a divorce. It was a time that having a divorce in Russia can be requested to an innocent party who is under guilt, who is also discovered in the act of adultery. But Karenin forces Anna to hand over some of Vronsky's love letter, which the lawyer deems insufficient as proof of the affair. Anna's brother Steva and Dolly, her sister-in-law, they argue against Karenina's drive for a divorce. Karenina, he diverts his plan by seeing Anna dying after the childbirth. A baby girl is born to Anna. They name their daughter as Annie. However, after Vronsky comes to know that Karenin has forgiven Anna, he tries to attempt suicide. As when Anna recovers from her difficulty from childbirth, she finds that she cannot live with Karenin despite his forgiveness and her attachment to Annie. At the same time, Vronsky is also saved from his suicidal attempt and he left for a military posting in Tashkent. Desperate Anna tries to reunite with Vronsky and she flees with Vronsky to Italy. Meantime, Steva acts as a matchmaker between Levin and Kitty. He arranges a meeting between them, which results in reconciliation and engagement. Part 5 begins. Levin and Kitty, they get married and they start a new life on his country estate. Although the couple are happy, they undergo a bitterness and stressfulness in the first 3 months of their marriage. Levin often feels dissatisfied and tries to think about his bachelor life, which was productive before his marriage. As days pass, when the marriage starts to develop and improve, Levin comes to know that his brother Nikolai is dying of tuberculosis. Levin, who plans to meet Nikolai, is also accompanied by Kitty, who promises him that she will be a great help in nursing Nikolai. Levin also becomes happy after hearing his wife's offer, and his love over her grows, and eventually Kitty learns that she is pregnant. Simultaneously in Italy, Vronsky and Anna, they struggle to find their company and find their friends because they cannot socialize with Russians. Vronsky, who once thought that being with Anna was his key to his happiness, now finds him bored and unsatisfied. Vronsky takes up painting and makes an attempt to patronize as a Russian artist of genius. However, Vronsky cannot see that his own art lacks talent and passion. After this, Anna and Vronsky they decide to return to Russia. In Petersburg, Anna and Vronsky stay in one of the best hotels in Russia. Vronsky understands that he could not move freely in Russian society. Same to Anna. Anna also could not move freely with her best friend Princess Betsy. Anna also learns that Vronsky no longer loves her. Meanwhile, Anna's husband Karenin is comforted by Countess Lydia Ivanovna. She is an enthusiast of religious and mystic ideas who is fashionable with the upper classes. Lydia also advises Karenin to keep Servozy away from Anna and teaches Karenin to tell Servoza that his mother is dead. However, Servoza refuses to believe that his mother is dead. On Servoza's 9th birthday, Anna visits him. This is discovered by Karenin. Anna is now desperate, who is trying hard to regain her position in society. She attends a show at the theater at which where all St. Petersburg high society are present. But Vronsky tries to stop her from attending the theater. At the theater, Anna is openly snubbed by her former friends. Seeing this, Anna is devastated, and both Anna and Vronsky they move from St. Petersburg and they leave for Vronsky's country estate. Part 6 begins. Dolly spends the summer with Levin and Kitty with her mother. Levin lives a very simple life and extremely becomes jealous of one visitor named Veslovsky, who flirts openly with the pregnant Kitty. Levin tries to overcome his jealousy, but he briefly succeeds during a hunt with Veslovsky and Oblonsky. He also asks Veslonsky to leave. Veslonsky he leaves to stay with Anna and Beronsky at their nearby estate. When Dolly visits Anna, she is struck by the difference between the Levins, that is the aristocratic, but who lives a simple home life, and the life of Vronsky, who lives in a luxurious and lavish country estate. Dolly frustrates when she sees Anna's fashionable dresses and Vronsky's extravagant spending on a hospital that he is building. In addition to this, the relationship between Anna and Vronsky is not that good. Dolly also notices the anxious behavior of Anna and who is uncomfortably flirting with Veslonsky, who is a new visitor. By meeting Dolly, Vronsky makes an emotional request to her. He asks her to convince Anna to divorce Karenin so that they two can marry and live a normal life. When Vronsky leaves her for several days for his provisional election, Anna is disappointed by the separation and she writes a letter to Karenin for seeking a divorce so that Vronsky will not leave her, and also writes that they both will leave to the countryside of Moscow. Part 7 starts where Levin and Steva they both visit Steva's gentleman's club. They too meet Vronsky. Levin and Steva also pay a visit to Anna. Later, when Levin confesses his visit to his wife Kitty, she accuses him that he has fallen in love with Anna. In some time, they both reconcile. Looking at their relationship, Anna becomes jealous and plans to attract a man like Levin. Meantime, Kitty begets a son named Jimty, who is nicknamed as Mithya. Days later, when Steva visits Karenin, he asks Karenin to grant Anna a divorce. Meantime, Anna becomes jealous and gets irritates towards Vronsky. She suspects that Vronsky is in love with other women. Bitter Anna sends a message to Vronsky saying that she is going to commit suicide. She then pays a visit to Dolly and Kitty. Anna is also conscious of having experienced a railway worker's death on her first meeting with Vronsky. Part 8 begins. In Part 8, Steva gets the post that he has desired, and Karenin he takes custody of Vronsky and Anna's baby, Annie. Then a lightning storm occurs at Levin's estate. Levin also stops to question the Christian principles which is taught from his childhood. He also realizes that one must decide for oneself what is acceptable concerning one's own faith and beliefs. He chooses not to tell Kitty of the change that he has undergone after the storm. At the end of this novel, Levin arrives at a conclusion that despite all his newly accepted beliefs, he is human and will go on making mistakes, and his life can now be meaningful and truthful, which is oriented toward righteousness. Hope this video helps. If you have any query, please write it down on the comment section. Thank you for listening.